I want to say good morning to everyone. Hope you all are doing well on this Friday. I know I'm enjoying the sun that I'm getting on the side of my face right now. And so I hope you all are enjoying your Friday morning as well. First off, just want to say thank you to you all for attending this webinar training. We know it was a really quick turnaround for agreeing to be a part of the independent review committee. So thank you all for being here. Looks like we might just be I think Amanda's the only one left. Let's see, for today's webinar, there's going to be two of us that would be going over the content of the Early Childhood Equity Fund and the logistics of how we will be going about reviewing the applications and so forth.
Kim, are you still there?
And so first off, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Kimberly Moore. I'm the Equity Fund of the state. Can you guys hear me?
We can now.
Now we can. You're going in and out.
Oh, I'm afraid. I wonder if it's my connection.
We can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm just going to leave my laptop as is. Okay. Great. Thank you. Like I said, I just want to say thank you to everyone that's attending today. Like I said, it was a really quick turnaround. And so thank you all for being a part of this. Today, there's going to be Adina and I that would be going over the logistics and talking to you a little bit about the Early Childhood Equity Fund. And so I just wanted us to introduce ourselves to you all. Like I said, I mean, you guys might not have heard from the glitches, but my name is Kimberly Moa, and I am the Early Childhood Equity Fund Manager. So I would be the person overseeing this amazing opportunity for our state. And so I'm excited to be here, and so I'll let Adina introduce herself.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Adina Hayslip, and I am grant specialist assigned for this fund under Nakisha's team.
Awesome.
And so this is Nakisha Knight-Coyle, and I'm also on the line. I'm the director of our grants and operations at the Early Learning Division, which is basically home to a grant team and a team of data and IT analysts. So very happy to be here. I'm very happy to be here with with Ruby and Amanda when she joins, folks who are very familiar with equity funds and have been champions for this work. So welcome.
Welcome, welcome. And thank you for being here too, Chris. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump in. Let's see, when I go over the slides, feel free to chime in, Adina and Nakisha as well, okay, if there's anything that I'm missing. So for today, this is the outline of what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the purpose of why we're doing this. We're going to talk about, we're going to do an overview of the Early Childhood Equity Fund, you know, kind of looking at the eligibilities, the definitions, certain definitions that we want everyone to be aware of. Let's see the available grants that there are, the funding targets, and basically the timeline. We're also going to go over the review process, the RFA review process, as an independent reviewer, the conflicts of interest and confidentiality, the importance of that. We're going to look at the request for application content and the independent reviewer, the scoring tables, and looking at our SurveyMonkey portal that we're doing it on. And so that's basically the outline of today's webinar. And so we'll go ahead and get started. Next slide. Okay. Now the purpose. Now this presentation is really a guide kind of reviewing what the Early Childhood Equity Grant is in the application and what we're going to do, but it would be very helpful for some of you all. I know it was very helpful for me to look at these documents while we're going and or reading it when I have time. And so if you might find it helpful if you have these documents handy as we go through the process. And so as you can see, there's 4 documents. We have the rules ELD 4-2020, Chapter 414. We have the Early Childhood Equity Fund request for applications. That one is a good handy one. The RFA Exhibit A, which is the scoring table, and the FAQ document. And so those are 4 documents that will definitely give you the whole picture of what the equity fund is. Next slide. And so I'm going to give you an overview of what the equity fund is. And now the Early Learning Division is planning to award up to $10 million in grants for early learning programs, and the funds are available for many types of programs. Let's see, they're there to support a broad range of culturally specific early learning and early childhood and parent support programs. And the programs are parent education, parent-child interaction, kindergarten transitions, and tribal language preservation and revitalization. Now, the parenting education, those are education programs that are focused on enhancing parent practices and behaviors, such as like developing and enhancing positive parent techniques, learning age-appropriate child development skills and milestones, more things like preventing positive play and interactions between parents and child, locating and assessing community services and support. And so that's what covers in parenting education programs. As for the parent-child interaction programs, now those are programs that serve both the child and the parent, in order to support positive parent-child interactions. And so hopefully that would result in promoting healthy attachment and bonding and child development. As for the programs for kindergarten transitions, these are targeted programs that will help prepare the child, the family, and the schools for the transition from the early childhood period into kindergarten. Now, these programs will provide the children and the families the opportunity to get familiar with the kindergarten skills and routines and expectations, but it'll also help the schools to prepare to serve the children and families as well. And the last kind of program that it is supporting is the tribal language preservation and revitalization. Now, these are early childhood programs that will integrate efforts to preserve and restore and maintain the tribal languages through one of the programs I just stated, like embedded within the parent education program, or embedded within the parent-child interaction, or embedded within the kindergarten transition programs. And so those are the programs that the Early Childhood Equity Fund is supporting. And now the funds are definitely aiming to close opportunity gaps for children and families who are experiencing these systemic disparities that there are out there right now, from any combination of factors such as race, income, zip code, language. And so hopefully through these services rooted in their culture and home language will give them a more positive and successful experience. And so that's what the aim of the Equity Fund is aiming towards. Next slide, please. Adina, that's you.
And I was muted. Good morning, everyone. The most important part of the equity fund was creating eligibility. So it will kind of target the culturally specific organizations. So the first step of every application was eligibility. In order to be eligible, organization had to be culturally specific or operate a culturally specific early learning program. They had to serve communities within geographic boundaries of Oregon, or serve communities within Indian county of a federally recognized Indian tribe that is within the geographic boundaries of Oregon. Demonstrate experience providing outreach, support, resources to children and families described in number 4. And then provide outreach, support, resources to children and families who experience systemic disparities because of 2 or more following factors: race, ethnicity, English language proficiency, socioeconomic status, geographic location. And number 5, demonstrate how people in leadership position belong to the cultural community served. When you receive the applications for a review, please note that in order for applicants to reach the application process, they had to declare their eligibility, which you will see in the application. when you see the application, that means that they are eligible. However, you will have to look through the answers further in application that we will explain a little bit later to make sure that whatever they selected in their eligibility question number 4, that they actually gave explanations about that. And we will touch on that later throughout the process. In order to understand the eligibility, I added one part of our rules that will be provided to you in a packet for reviewers. But the most important definitions are these 3: culturally specific methods, culturally specific organizations, and culturally specific early learning program. So once you receive rules and throughout the application or the scoring document you have, maybe you're wondering, you know, what we actually meant with culturally specific organization. Rules packet is definitely a good source to look through.
All right, so there are 2 available grants, and the thing is, applicants can apply for program grants and planning grants. And so the first thing is the program grants. Now, program grants are available and are designed to deliver the culturally specific programs. The programs I stated before, you know, the parenting education programs, the parent-child interaction programs, the kindergarten transition programs, and the tribal language preservation and revitalization programs are embedded within those 3 programs. So the program grants are designed to help deliver those culturally specific programs. And now planning grants are designed to help culturally specific agencies build a capacity to deliver those programs. So for example, if you are a new, if you are a agency that has been doing it, but then you're still trying to build your foundations and still trying to build, you know, staff and recruitment and things like that, you would be applying for a planning grant because you're trying to get to the point where you can provide the services. And so just a heads up, there's those 2 types of grants, and an organization can submit more than 1 grant. And so there's that. So next slide. Now this table illustrates the distribution of the funds across the multiple program types. It also provides funding targets for each program with the corresponding anticipated number of children to be served. Now finally, it also includes the estimated total allocations available for each program. Now for the planning grant, there's an estimated 400,000 available for planning grants in order to promote the capacity of culturally specific organizations to deliver culturally specific early learning programs. Planning grants are a one-time grant that provide resources for outreach and engagement with families and communities and other activities that may be required before delivering or expanding services for children's families and communities. So like I said previously in the previous slide, just remember that there's 2 grants. The program grants are delivered for the agency to provide the culture specific programs, and the planning grants are designed to help them get there. And so just know that a planning grant can be converted to a program grant. So for example, if you are an agency and you are needing assistance in starting it up, you would apply for the planning grant, and then once you have that, depending on the available funding, of course, if you can switch it and convert it to a program grant. And so those are the 2 grants that are available within the equity fund. And so looking at the timeline here, as you can see, today's May 1st. Today's our orientation for the independent reviewers. And then on May 4th, on Monday, that's the deadline for the RFAs. And so Monday at 5:00 p.m. sharp. And so we are projecting definitely that we would be getting applications to the last minute before the 5:00 deadline. And so that's going to happen. Then what's going to happen is from May 5th to May 11th, you would then have access to the applications in which you are going to be looking and scoring. And so on May 11th is when your scores, the forms that you're going to complete with it is due. And so, and then on May 13th, we will then have an orientation webinar with a review committee that will then look at all the scores and also look at any additional information if needed. Let's see, and then on May 20th, the review committee will reconvene. And then by the 26th, we would then send recommendations to the Early Learning Systems Director. And then by June 5th, we'll find out, people will find out the final award decisions that were made, and they'll be announced. And so that's kind of the timeline. As you can tell, we have this 1 month to fulfill this timeline, so everything's going to be moving quick and fast. So like I said, a part of the review process is there's two parts. There's the independent review committee, and then there's the review committee. And so what happens is, like I said, once the deadline ends, comes up on May 4th, the next day, you would then have access to the applications that you are reviewing, and you have until the 11th, okay, to submit those scores. And then what happens is on the 20th of May, that's when the review committee will come and look at scores and look at additional information and applications, and then we will then proceed with sending our recommendations to the early systems director. Let's see, a little bit about the independent review committee. You know, the independent review committee is filled with internal staff and external individuals where you have expertise, we have expertise in early care and education. And so you were selected as an independent reviewer because of your expertise and knowledge in this area. Now, the EOD will assign a subset of applications to you, around 10 to 15 to each individual, and you will have from the 5th, like I said, to the 11th to look at the applications. You will be looking at it through our SurveyMonkey platform, and Adina will kind of talk about that after I'm done talking with my whole spiel here. But we will use a SurveyMonkey platform for you to look at applications remotely. Okay, and each application will be reviewed at least by 2 reviewers using the same scoring criteria described in the RFA. And then a third review could be asked and will be asked to take a look at an application if there's more than a 30-point difference within the 2 first reviewers. And so just know there's that. And then the applications will be reviewed and the language was also submitted. For example, there is, I know for sure, at least one that is submitted in Spanish, and so that would be reviewed in Spanish. Now, independent reviewers will complete online review forms, like I said, for the period of May 5th to 11th, and then those forms would then be shared to the review committee on the 20th, like what I stated. Communications with applicants. So for example, if there's additional information that the independent reviewers that you all are needing, we can request for those information. What's going to happen is that the applicants are then given 3 days to provide us the information, and that information and to be to talk about the logistics and timing, you know, we have until May 5th to 11th. And for example, if you're requesting that additional information on the 10th, obviously there's only a day left. And so just to let you know, the additional information will be given to the review committee to look at in addition to the scores that you've given. So just know that the additional information could be asked, but then it will be given to the review committee to take a look at.
Alrighty, this is me. So there are 2 parts of the application process, review process, that we want to touch base. And this is defined in ORS, but also we will share a document with you. So there's 2 conflict of interest that we want to look over, potential conflict of interest and actual conflict of interest. I'm not going to read over this, but once you see the applications that are assigned to you in SurveyMonkey Apply, you can determine right there and then that you know somebody from that organization that applied, or you are part of their committee or something like that. You will be able to flag and declare that you have conflict of interest with that specific organization. Then it will be removed from your review list and returned to us. The second part, and we will provide also links so you can read in details about potential and actual conflicts of interest. The other part that I want to talk about is confidentiality. And this is just to touch base on the fact that this is a privileged communication and it cannot be shared or discussed with unauthorized individuals. You will be the only person that have access to a specific application. So sharing applications or meeting materials with anyone who hasn't been officially designated to participate in the review process is prohibited. Granting access to SurveyMonkey Apply, disclosing in any manner information about the committee deliberations, discussions, evaluations, or scores to anyone who has not been designated to participate in the review process, and also using information contained in the application for his or her personal benefit, or making such information available for the personal benefit of any other individual or organization. Okay, so I want to talk about the content of the actual application. So application is divided in 4 parts, starting with section 1. It is eligibility. Once you see the application, that means that they already, we already determined that they're eligible, or they stated that they're eligible. So that part is not scored. Section 2 is general information. It's also not scored, but we ask you to look through it and see if there's any missing information. Usually they will put general information, their location, address, or contact information, CEO or director of the program. But we will also look through these before we assign them to make sure that the enough information is there. Section 3, experience providing outreach, support, and resources, and also culturally specific criteria. So this total maximum points of this section 3 is 75 points. They talk about what may make them culturally specific, and also what programs they already have going on, or their experience in those programs, or in general what their organizations are doing. Section 4, they can select only program or only planning per application. So you might see that you have same organization twice. That means that at one point they selected one program, and on second point they selected a planning grant, or they submitted 2 program applications, because there's no limit on how many applications they can submit. If they did select program proposal, program fund, they have 6 questions, and maximum points is 30. If they selected planning, they have only 2 questions to answer, and maximum is 10 points. Applications will be scored based on the applicant's ability to provide responses that address the questions, and we will provide what we are looking for in a scoring sheet. Again, the maximum points for program grants is 105, for planning grants is 85 points. This is also provided in a scoring sheet. And this is the scoring table that we will submit, give you access to, so you can go through it while you are reviewing the applications. I'm not going to go through it, but you have section 3 continued. With each question, you will have applicants scoring criteria. You will have kind of description, what we want them to touch on with their reply. So for example, to get community being served, recognize the organization is culturally specific. Applicant's response describe how a particular cultural community recognized the organization as culturally specific. So it's going to kind of guide you in what you're looking for in the answers. And we have section 3 there, section 4 program description, and section 4 continued planning proposal description. So we will provide you this. We encourage you to take a look at it and just get yourself familiarized with what is asked of applicants. This is going to be a sample independent review score. Again, we add here maximum points and then your total score. This is all automated in SurveyMonkey apply, but we just wanted to give you an idea what is the maximum points per grant and how it's going to look like. I see that there's some questions. Oh, Nakisha is asking, are there any questions? Okay, moving forward. So now we will start with SurveyMonkey apply process.
Okay, there is a question that just came in.
Yes, yes, Amanda, there are in each question, and I will show that throughout the SurveyMonkey reviewer user guide, that there are on each question you will have a comment section where you can add your comments or describe why you score them that low or that high. So this reviewer user guide will be provided to you. It contains all the screenshots, so you can go step by step throughout your process. So first thing that is very important to mention is that SurveyMonkey Apply is not supported in Internet Explorer browser. You can log in, but it's not going to show all the information that you need. So we recommend either Google Chrome or Mozilla's Firefox as preferred browsers. Once we have all the completed applications, we will enter your email to SurveyMonkey Apply, and you will receive invitation to register. So once you receive that email, and I will share the screenshot of that, but you will be directed to the SurveyMonkey Apply link. First thing to mention, if you are reviewing Spanish language applications, you can also change your preferred language, so all the questions are also translated to Spanish, as well as the scoring sheet. So if you look at here in upper right corner, you can select either English or Spanish as your preferred language. So you will receive invitation like this in your email, inviting you to join the review committee. When you get it, click join now. Then you will be, go ahead. Hello? Can everybody hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, good. So you will be invited. You have to create the account. So your email will be recognized through SurveyMonkey Apply. However, you still need to register. So please make sure that you add all the information here, and also click I'm not a robot, and then create the account. After that, you will receive a confirmation email regarding the successful creation of your SurveyMonkey reviewer account, and it should be in the inbox of the email address that you provided when creating your account. So you will have to go back to that email that will look same as this screenshot and click go to the site. And this is going to be your first dashboard once you log in as a reviewer. Obviously, we want you to select early 2020-2021 Early Childhood Equity Fund. Just click Start. These are the components of reviewer dashboard. So you will have review dashboard at the top. You will have, obviously, this will say Early Childhood Equity Grant, and then you will have review round 1. So please click at Start, and then it's going to show you all the available applications for your review. Also, the reviews completed area will be shown to the left of the green star button. This feature shows how many applications have been reviewed out of total amount of applications assigned to you. So application review, to begin the review of the application, you have to click on a green start button. You have a couple of options to do that. You can click it here or here. Once you click the first start, it will show all the applications that are assigned to you. And before I continue with this, I'm going to jump back on conflict of interest. So once you reach that point where you can see all the applications assigned to you, that is when you will see their name, and you can determine, do you have any actual or potential conflict of interest. This is the flag, and I think that the second, so you can flag the application either right here before you even start, or if you accidentally hit start, you still have option to flag it here. And once you flag it, that means that you have a conflict of interest and it's going to be turned back to us. You don't have to do anything with that application. We will just assign it to somebody else. Once you click the flag, it will ask you to provide the reason for your conflict of interest. You can enter any short message or long explanation, and then click OK. Once you click OK, it's going to return you back to your list of applications pending your review, and that application will be removed. The ELD will receive the email, much like the image below, indicating that you have identified conflict of interest for the applicant. So we will know without you actually having to let us know that you have a conflict of interest and that we need to assign this application to somebody else. Okay, moving forward. Application review. So once you access the first application on your list, on the left side of the screen, you will see all applicant information displayed to include the application ID number assigned by SurveyMonkey, full name, date of their last submission. On the right side, hand side, the scoring rubric appears. So on each of the section, you will have you can kind of scroll back and forward and see, okay, if this section has 0 to 5 points, what are the description of those points? And I will show that in live as soon as I'm done with the PowerPoint. Okay, moving forward. So each question moving through the application will look like the screenshots here. So you will have program mission, you will have their response here, you will have your score, and then each question will have a comment below. So you can submit something in a comment if it's self-explanatory and you're just scoring them maximum point. You don't want to provide a comment, you can skip that. It is not mandatory. The only mandatory part is that you actually score each question. Also, throughout your process, you will be able to, pause or log out and go back in, and it will allow you to continue where you stopped. So the completeness of a review is shown right here. So throughout your process, you will have, half-filled circles, meaning that you are halfway there, or complete. It's gonna give with each application like a green check mark saying that one is completed. Once you reach the bottom of the questions for review, you will see features shown below. Total score will always be on the left side of your screen. So you will see on page 1, section 1, you scored 15 points, and it will be adding your points how you progress through applications. So throughout the process, if you want to score one section and then take a break, you can save draft, and it's going to allow you to click back where you stopped, or you can just continue to the next page or next section. As you continue the review process, the bar on the right hand side will show the percentage of applications you have completed. So each application, if you do just section 3, it's going to show 25% completed, you have 75% left. Once completed, you will get to the bottom of the page where it will show total score on the left side, and then mark as complete on the as the green button. If you need to save your draft and you are not ready to score them completely, or you want to go back, you can always click save draft throughout your application process. Incomplete application and editing. If you completed your scoring, but you want to go back, you didn't click submit or something, it is always important to click 3 dots that are next to a continue button, and then press continue, and it's going to take you back to your application. Once you are ready to submit your review, if you selected a green mark as complete, you will have a confirmation box pop out saying confirm review submission. And at that point, if you click confirm, you will not be able to modify this review after submitting. After if you have like 5 applications in line, once you submit first one, you completed the review, you click return to assignments, and it's gonna show you only what you have pending. Also, if you look at your full page, you will see with the green check mark the ones that you completed already. You can go back and view your score. You cannot change it at that point. And then you will see the rest of them that are still pending. And that is all for SMA. Any questions?
I don't have any. Thanks.
Oh, okay.
I have a question. I'm sorry, this is Amanda. I was typing it and then realized that would take very long.
Yeah.
If there is a question for an applicant in the application, how do you want us to alert you to that?
If you have questions that you need to determine their score, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, if there's a section that just needs more clarification. I heard that there's a 3-day window for them to respond. So how do you want us to engage you all on that?
So that's going to be me, Edina Hayslip. Okay. So, I will need to know the applicant's name and what section you need more, clarification, and then I will reach out to them and request that information.
Great. So that's just an email directly to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
So this is Nikisha. I also want to just make sure that we all understand that the request for additional information, we're not anticipating those responses to come back within a time frame that will allow us to share that information back to independent reviewers. So you're still going to have to score given what was included in the application. But any additional requests for additional information, we can still send those out to programs and organizations and get those information back. But as Kim said earlier, we're going to share that information with the review committee. So it will become a part of the packet that we provide to the review committee on individual applicants. So you won't see the response. So you still will have to score. Okay.
That's helpful. Thank you.
Okay. And I just want to show you also a live view of how your review dashboard will look like. So if you click start here, it's going to show your applications. And you can start reviewing them or flag them as conflict of interest. I'm going to start just to show you the scoring explanations. So again, it's going to show that eligibility is not scored, general information is not scored, but before every section, there will be explanations for each score number that you can assign. So just pay attention to that. You will always be able to scroll back and forth between questions or hey, I want to score them 4. Is that good, or should I do better? You can read the explanation of each score number, so you can go back and also you can add your comments. It's pretty clear for sure. Any additional questions? All righty.
Okay, let's see. Sorry, I was having a lot of technical issues, so I'm on the phone now. But yeah, if any of you have any questions that you later think of, definitely email Adina or email me, and then we'll get back to you. But yeah, thank you all for attending. And if there's no more questions, then we will end this webinar training. Thank you.
Thank you.
It
Kimberly,
looks
are
like
you?
it's us.
Oh.
Looks like it's just us.
Was that good?
Yeah, I'm not calling. Huh?
Was that good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you
think
did
it was-
great. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you both did fantastic. I think it was really clear. And I think I was surprised there was no questions, so.
Yeah,
I
I
think that
know.
there will be some once we email them this documentation, which by the way, should I do that, or Kimberly, you have everything on that drive that I sent?
It's
Uh-huh.
in the appointment. So I went in and I updated the appointment yesterday. So you might want to go in there and just see what's in there, just to make sure you can see what's in it. And what I had to cut out the information that was provided in Spanish because we ran out of space. I didn't have enough space.
Yeah, that's good.
And I figured the English versions would work for these folks. So I had to cut those out, but I included, I think there's 4 or 5 attachments.
Yep.
Like there's
So, everything is there. I'm
I
looking at
see
that.
it. Yep. Yep.
Okay.
I see it
That's
too.
So,
maybe
maybe we can email them on Monday morning before, Tuesday, and they say, hey, we are getting ready to assign these to you tomorrow morning. Do you have any questions before you start and stuff? I'm sure that they will once they start actually reviewing.
Mhm. Mhm. I think so. Yeah, I guess we'll see. Chris didn't have any questions either, so
Yeah, I think we'll just wait. I'm pretty sure the questions will start coming once they have access.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Right. And so we'll hear back from, so the 2 that are going to be reviewing in Spanish are Ruby, and
Okay.
I'm hopeful that Miriam's able to reach this other woman. Her name is Nancy. And so those will be the 2 individuals that will be reviewing applications in both Spanish and English.
Okay.
So at this point, since Shadeen wasn't on there, so I'm not sure what that means, and Nancy, I guess we'll see. Monday we might be doing a little bit of a hustle just to reach out to them to make sure they have the information that they need. And hopefully we might be able to get Chris to review more than 15 if we need to.
Okay. Okay.
But we've told the other external folks, 10 to 15, and it's so hard to know how many we're going to receive at the end, right?
I'm literally replying to an email from United Way PDX saying, Adina, can you confirm that the time of deadline is on May 4th at 5 p.m.? It's not listed on the website, which it is. She said, but we need to know because that's when we can submit ours. So,
Okay.
so that we will be everything stuff by,
Yeah. So we're going to be like right up on the end.
And what we didn't.
Now, SurveyMonkey applied. It allows them to submit late too, doesn't it, Adina?
Yeah.
Doesn't it give them a grace period?
Yeah, there is 2 hours of grace period, which we didn't, obviously advertise.
Of course. Okay.
God.
I know. Yeah.
Let me see if we got anything else since this started. Oh my God, we have 8. Yeah, we have 8 applications worked on right now.
Wow.
Nice. And we have how many in Spanish? So we have 2 submitted in Spanish, right?
No,
one. Right now. Okay.
So far. Yep.
1 so far. Okay.
Yeah. So we shall see. But that ECC grant has 709 applications submitted.
Submitted?
Wow.
Yep.
That was in the last hour because you just showed it as 300 and something opened.
Yep.
And like 80 submitted. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, I think that went good too. So.
I think so. I think it was well done. I think you guys went through the information with Claire. I didn't have any questions, but we can't control that, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Talk to you
Thank you,
later.
guys. Yay.
Go team.
All right. Thank
Sounds good. All right,
Bye.
thank you.
That's right. Okay. Bye.
Bye.